Southern Illinois Saluki fans, welcome back to another edition of Saluki Sportsview. I'm Cole Daly, joined by Joey Yunker, and today we have a packed show with some of the biggest names of the spring sports season.
It seems like new Saluki stars are popping up left and right. This spring season has already turned out to be no exception.
But first, we'll recap one of the craziest men's basketball seasons to date and hear from someone who has truly given his all to Saluki Nation.
Don't go anywhere, Saluki Sportsview is just getting started.
After reaching their second NCAA tournament in 3 seasons, Saluki softball continues to take the region by storm with the production of another freshman phenom.
Only this time, you're seeing double. Freshman twins and Omaha, Nebraska natives, Madia and Rylan Groff, opened the 2024 season with a perfect game in a 3-0 Saluki victory. The pitcher-catcher duo combined for the first 7-inning perfect game in SIU history. It came against their hometown team and former Southern Illinois Missouri Valley Conference rival, the Creighton Blue Jays.
Madia has already established herself as one of the Missouri Valley Conference's top pitchers, but it wouldn't be possible without her sister behind the plate. I spoke to them about their connection on the field, the reality of playing college softball, and the emotional aspect of freshman success. We now welcome twins Madia and Rylan Groff of Saluki softball. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
Of course. And to start, when did you guys kind of realize, has it hit you guys yet, that you have been dominating at the Division I college level? Because I'm sure, right, coming out of high school, you're both freshmen, it's going to be hard, right? But now you guys have been playing excellent. Take me through what it's been like so far.
It's just been super cool to see the work translate, because college softball is kind of the dream for a lot of girls. Like, this is it, and so you work for this for a long, long time. So just to be able to see some of that start translating is a super cool feeling.
Gotcha. And Rylan, do you have anything to add?
I wouldn't say dominating by any means,
Yes.
but I just think it's cool to be just a small part of the team's success. So I'm just grateful to be here.
So please, take me back to the beginning, right? Elementary, junior high. When was it that you guys felt like it clicked for you? And when do you feel like, okay, we might have the chance to take our talents to the next level here?
For me, there's not really an identifiable point when it clicked, you know. I've just been throwing to Rylan since I was little. She's just the catcher who's always caught me. So it was kind of just like we grew up together and developed our skills together. So there's not really a moment I could say that just it happened, but.
Yeah, we've been playing club softball since we were like 9. So we just kept playing, and then you just eventually got to a certain age and we're like, yeah, we want to keep doing this and we want to play in college.
And when I ask you guys both about, like, when it comes to high pressure situations, right? Maybe it's in a close game. Do you feel like there's almost some sort of maybe twin telepathy going on here, right? Does it make it easier knowing that it's your twin sister behind the plate?
I think it for sure makes it easier just to know that she always has my back. As for the twin telepathy, she calls my pitches and everything. So sometimes it can seem telepathic, but it also just might be she's caught me for however many years now. But
So what was the recruitment process like for you guys, right? You guys come from Omaha, if I have that correctly. And, you know, how did SIU find you, and then what drew you to Carbondale?
So like when September 1st hit, you know, you're in contact with coaches and stuff. And SIU, the coaches had been to our games and stuff, and we'd been emailing them. And once September 1st hit, we had phone calls with them, and we were able to come visit here. And it just honestly felt so comfortable and like home when we were here. We loved the girls on the team, the coaches, the campus, all of it. And it honestly made our decision super easy with where we were going to go. I thought it'd be a lot more difficult, but like after visiting, we just knew that this is where we wanted to go.
All right, and how about you, Maddie? Do you have anything else to add there?
we kind of liked the appeal of getting out of the little Nebraska bubble. And so kind of college is a really good opportunity to get away from home and to just kind of be in the real world, even though, you know, you're still in college. But we thought that was another good thing about coming far a little bit.
I get it. Do you guys have like a favorite food place in Carbondale that you've tried out so far?
Oh,
I like Quattro's.
Quattro's is the big popular one.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to
I
love
like
Quattro's.
Arbaugh's, or however you say it.
Harbaugh's,
Yes.
yeah, for breakfast.
Yes.
That's definitely my favorite too. So, you both are freshmen, of course. You know, how have you both supported each other during the process? Because I'm sure, right, we talked about it earlier, stepping on campus and having a sense of, do I belong? Do you think it's easier for you than potentially other freshmen?
I would say you kind of just have a built-in best friend with you. That sounds so cheesy, but it's true. Like, you know, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you have at least one other person for sure. And so obviously that's always going to make you feel more comfortable, especially when you're far away from home.
Yeah, I think it's made it a lot easier, but I also think the whole team has been super supportive, and they've made the whole transition very easy because they're all very encouraging and they just have our backs, which is super nice.
Right. Aside from the Creighton game, is there a specific game that you guys have played where you felt like you two really kind of hit it off in a way? I don't mean for the pun in softball, right? But do you feel that you two had a special connection in that game?
The first Purdue game last time, or the first Purdue game last week that, you know, we kind of had to bounce back from a loss. So we went into that game knowing we're going to win this game. Like, there's no way that we're losing this game. And I really thought that part was cool.
Yeah, I agree. I would say the first Purdue game.
Gotcha. And obviously, as you guys being twins, you know, who's the favorite in the family? I got to ask.
My brother.
Yeah.
My brother, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. All righty. Well, thank you both so much for joining us. We'll be right back with more Saluki Sportsview.
Spring is in the air, and that means it's time to get back on the diamond for the reigning MVC champions, the Southern Illinois Saluki softball team. With most of last year's roster back for 2024, we wondered if we could get some insight to the secret of their success.
You can't score without getting runners on, and speedy slappers are sometimes the best way to accomplish that goal. SIU has been blessed with multiple players who have mastered the art of splat bunting. Our very own Jordan Cruz wanted to know if softball stars Emma Austin and Bailey Kaler could teach a lifelong baseball player about an integral part of the game of softball.
What's up, everybody? This is Jordan from Saluki Sportsview, and today I've got two very special guests with me. It's Emma Austin and it's Bailey Kaler from SIU softball, and today they're going to teach me how to slap bunt. Now look, I played baseball for 13 years, okay? I can handle a bat, but I cannot slap bunt. I have never slap bunted in my entire life. Do you guys think you can help me out?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So first we've got Bailey here. Bailey, show me what I'm going to be doing in this first couple of drills.
All right, well, the first drill we're gonna do is the crossover drill. So this is one that Emma and I like to do a lot to warm up. But basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna get in the box up off the tee, and you're really gonna get set in your crossover stance, because this is where you wanna make contact with the ball with your feet like this. Most important thing with this foot, can't cross over this white line right here. Really gotta make sure that your foot's staying this way. Make sure that you're staying over the ball instead of pulling off like that. It should look something like this.
We're not even moving the feet at all. It's
Right.
just- okay.
You wanna go for
Yep,
it?
let me try it out.
Okay.
So left foot in front,
Yep.
right foot behind.
Perfect.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
That was a good first
Maybe
one.
a little more follow through.
There you go. Nice. Oh, that
See,
was a good one.
that one felt
Last
natural.
best one.
See,
Yeah,
that one
was
felt
good.
natural.
That was
Awesome.
good.
Way better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, that last
honestly.
one was good. Yeah, so try to go either, I guess, in between those two nets or between the pitcher's mound and the shortstop net.
Okay.
There you go.
Works. One.
Two. Nice. Woo! Perfect. Good. That was good.
Natural. I'm a natural. Boom. Let's go to the next drill with Emma. All right, so I think I did that first drill pretty well, but Emma, you're holding what looks to be a 18-inch bat, potentially. I mean, how am I gonna learn anything with that little of a bat?
This is really going to help with your control and your placement of the ball. So a little bit what you were working on with Bailey, but it's going to really test it this time.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to get in the same position that you were in, but this time you're going one hand at a time.
Oof,
So,
okay.
so the first one, right here. After a few of those, you're going to switch hands.
And are we still trying to hit it to that left side in between the pitcher's mound and shortstop and short and third?
Yes, so
Okay.
ideally you're going to pick a spot on the field and you have to be very accurate with it. Here you go.
This is not gonna go wrong. Oh goodness, no, that's bad. It's just windy, it's windy, that wasn't because of my swing. It's fine, it's fine. Oh my goodness, okay, that's, okay.
Eye on the ball.
You ever look at like the, at the ring on the bat?
Here we go.
Deep breath.
There we go.
There we go. All right,
Best one.
give me a target, make it hard. I got this, come on.
Oh, you want it to be hard? Oh, okay. Hit the third base net right there.
Okay,
You have to hit it.
yep, no problem. Oh, close. Okay. No, dang it.
Wrong net.
No. All right, well, give me 3 more chances, and if I don't get it, then I just fail.
Oh.
No, that's close. Okay,
Oh.
give me 2 more, 2 more.
Almost.
No. No. Leg strong. Wind to stop blowing.
Oh.
Okay, you know what?
Oh.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That was my best one.
Yeah.
Finally, we're gonna get into our game, okay? Let's see if I'm ready to take on 2 of the best slappers in the Missouri Valley Conference. All right, so I've gone through my 2 lessons, and now it's time to put it into action, going up against Emma and Bailey in a game where we're trying to hit the ball in between the 2 screens, in between third base, shortstop, or in between shortstop and the pitcher. We're each gonna have 5 attempts. Let's see who can get the most. She's not gonna mess this up. Obviously not, there's just no way, okay.
Oh.
Hit the net, please. No, she just missed it. Thank you, there we go. There's 1. That's all I need, just give me 1. Just give me 1. That's right to Laura, okay. 3 out of 4, that's, if I'm being honest, it's gonna be a tough number to beat regardless. That was just perfect. Okay. All right.
There it is.
All right, so Bailey went 5 for 5. This is gonna be difficult.
Oh.
1 for 1.
All right.
Coach Jen just showed up. I think she's gonna offer me a scholarship.
Oh, God.
No, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. No. If I get 5, we're gonna have to do a swing off,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Oh.
That counts, right?
That counts. No pressure.
Does that count or was it too high?
I count.
5 out of 5. That's what I'm talking about. All right, Bailey and I are gonna go into a swing off.
You have to hit the shortstop net.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can I just be honest? I'm super surprised.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
I feel like Rod Carew. Ah.
That was a good one, though.
It was a good hit, but Jackie's making that play every single time.
Oh, he's trying to end the air.
I'm gonna try to end it since the first swing.
Yeah, but now you're being for real. Oh. Oh! Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was good.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I actually won that. Thank you guys for not trying and helping me out there. But no, in all seriousness, thankfully we were just doing those drills because they probably would have destroyed me and everything else. If we would have had a run today, that would probably have been the end of me. But thank you so much to Bailey and Emma. You guys were apparently great teachers today, so I appreciate it. This is Jordan for Saluki Sportsview saying so long, along with Emma Austin and Bailey Kaler.
The 2023-24 men's basketball season brought about massive change throughout the entire Saluki athletics landscape. Despite outperforming preseason expectations, SIU fired Brian Mullins and has since hired Scott Nagy to replace him. Let's take a look at how we got here along with Cole Daly. So Cole, the beginning of the season, what did you think of the initial expectations of the team? They were 9th at the Missouri Valley Conference preseason poll. Was that too low to begin with, or do you think that was fair?
So here's the thing, right? This is clearly a team that had a lot of talent, but you lose Marcus Damask, leading scorer, and then Lance Jones, second leading scorer. These are guys that have been staples of the SIU program. So it's not just that, it's not just the points. It's all the stuff that goes on inside the locker room, all that kind of stuff. And when, coaches are making these kind of preseason polls, what are we expecting to be? When you miss 2 key figures like that, that might be part of the reason why we only expect them to be 9th. I think 9th is a little bit disrespectful, but I can see the range they're going with, right? 9, 8, 7. I think we could have been up to 7. I think 9th is a little low, but we're probably fine with it. I think that, later in the season, we had expectations seeing as we were 4th, right? And we ended up ultimately being at 6th. Expectations, when you, exceed them, there's a way that, it's very funny. Fans tend to look at it and say, oh, we always had these expectations. Well, it's important to remember, at the beginning of the season, we weren't projected to be this good. But ultimately, when we saw our roster, we saw what we were capable of, I think that's part of what factored into the decision with the team, kind of what they wanted to do there.
Definitely losing those 2 key figures was a big turning upside down for the Salukis this year.
Absolutely.
Which game, in your opinion, was most pleasantly surprising, and which do you think was most disappointing?
So to me, there's two clear answers to what you're saying. So the most pleasantly surprising has to be when we beat Indiana State at home in the Banterra Center, right? So they're the number 23, the 23rd ranked team in the country at that point. It's not very frequent that a Missouri Valley team is in the top 25 of the AP poll. But Indiana State was that, right? They were led by their star, Robbie Avila, and they also had plenty really, really talented guards, right? And Josh Hertz, the coach in Indiana State, does a phenomenal job with the offense there. I mean, they've got some real building blocks here if all the players ended up staying and the coach ends up staying. But anyways, they come into our house. No one expects us to win. And all of a sudden, we're walking out of there with, we're hanging up W's, right? And that's something that, as a Saluki fan, has to be so fun to be a part of, right? But there's the other end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is when it comes down to most disappointing, and that has to be, without a doubt, the Bradley game, which also, unfortunately, took place at our home stadium, Banterra Center. We were up 18, around 20 at half, and we end up losing the game. I mean, Bradley is a team that has given us a lot of trouble the past couple of years. But ultimately, when you're up that much, there's no excuse, right? You need to close out that game. And I think with a lot of the fans in the crowd and a lot of the boosters, right, who might be helping with Brian Mullen's next contract, that's something that they'll look back at that game and say, if you want to know why we made the decision that we did, you got to look when the team from Peoria came in and had a 25-point comeback. I mean, that's just, in basketball, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, especially on your home court.
Mm-hmm.
So the Salukis finished regular season with a loss to Northern Iowa, which dropped them down to the 6th seed when they had been sitting at 4th virtually all season. How much of the decision to fire Brian do you think was before Arch Madness, and what part of that do you think the UIC game played in that after March Madness?
So, to me, there's 4 games which led to Brian Mullen's firing. I mean, granted, obviously, they're factoring in a lot of stuff that's happened over multiple seasons. But the 4 games this season that I point to is, 1, we're in a late game with Missouri State. It's a close game, and our offense, there's been a lot of talks about our offense and how it becomes relatively predictable. We're wasting on the shot clock, and the fans at the Banterra Center are booing our own team that's on the court. You can't have that happen. The second game was that Bradley game that I mentioned, right? You can't blow a lead like that. And then you have the Northern Iowa game where that one, it's basically a free-for-all. We're playing for that 4 seed. The 4 seed guarantees you a bye. That might, if he wins that game and we somehow squeak one out against Belmont, and even if we don't, the likelihood of Brian's job is obviously a lot more secure. And so when you lose that game at home, where you have the advantage in every single regard, despite you and I being a very, very well-coached and very, very talented team, now you have to play UIC in the first round, which finally is kind of the last domino to fall in all of this, where, hey, this is the 11 seed, and they did not have a very impressive year. We beat them twice. Why are they coming back to bite us during tournament time? And I think, we knew this when Lance Rhodes gets his long-term contract, Nick Hale does, and we're waiting on Brian Mullins. And I think with SIU basketball, as highly praised as it is here, you've got to be excellent. And Brian Mullins may have been good, but he wasn't excellent. And I think that's where the standard is for Saluki basketball.
Definitely. I think towards the end of the season, we were hearing a lot from Saluki Nation about their current opinions on Brian Mullins going into that postseason game. And finally, Scott Nagy era has officially begun. We haven't seen him coach yet, but what do you think fans can get excited about?
So let's look at the best team in the conference, right? Indiana State. A lot of people expected them to make the tournament. What's their team centric on? Offense. At Wright State, under Scott Nagy, they were a very, very offensive-centric team, right? They may have given up leads. I've actually watched a game a couple years ago in one of the tournaments, right? Wright State was expected to potentially make an NCAA tournament appearance by winning their conference tournament, and they ended up blowing a lead. Didn't go well for them. However, when you think about, right, Saluki fans, although Brian was successful, when you're a defensive-oriented team, you're also not as fun to watch. And when you have a coach like Scott Nagy come in, who does a good job conducting the offense, right, has some really, really good play calling. It's a lot of screens, it's a lot of movement, which, and just to be frank, Ryan Mullins' offense didn't have that. That's just the case. That's the fact of the matter. And I think it's a complete rebrand, which SIU needs, especially when you make a controversial hiring like this. You don't want to bring in a guy that's also defensive-minded. And Brandon Wilcoxon, one of the better reporters at the Daily Egyptian, put out an article where he talked to the athletic director, Tim Leonard, and said, hey, okay, what are we looking for hiring in this next guy? And Tim Leonard made a big emphasis on hiring somebody who already has coaching experience and head coaching experience specifically. We didn't want an assistant coming in. It was his first-time gig. That was, unfortunately, also the case for Brian Mullins. Nagy is a guy who's been in the game for a while, had his own program at Wright State, was pretty successful there, had a couple NCAA tournament appearances, and that's, I think, where the deciding factor was in hiring Nagy, as opposed to some of the other candidates that we had heard.
Excited to see how he does this season with the Salukis. We wish Brian Mullins and all of the players from this past year's squad nothing but good luck in their future, and hopefully we see them again soon. When we come back, we'll get Trent Brown's take on the final season of his career. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Saluki Sportsview. Joining us now is men's basketball fifth-year senior leader, Trent Brown. Trent has started every game for the Salukis so far this season and has reached career-high marks in games started, minutes per game, field goal percentage, points per game, and rebounds per game. Glad to have you here today, Trent.
I'm very happy to be here. No, thank you guys for having me.
All right, so this is your final season with the Salukis. You've been here almost all of Coach Mullins' career, if not the full duration. Safe to say you've seen the roller coaster of Saluki men's basketball. How has that shaped the way you've prepared for this final season?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I was his first recruit, so I've seen every single game that he's coached and been a part of. So I feel like I've seen it all, but obviously each day comes with a new challenge. So in terms of this last year with a new role and new guys and new team, you kind of didn't know what to expect before, but just having that experience and knowing I've been through the season, I've been through tough times, I've been through the ups and downs, it's really helped me kind of weather the storm through most of the season so far.
I feel like being with him for so long also helps you be a leader as well because you understand what he's expecting from you and your team.
Absolutely. I mean, he wants us to be an extension of him. He wants a player-led team. I feel like I know what he's going to say before he's going to say it most times. But obviously I can get ahead of myself, and he can get on me pretty quickly just because he expects so much of me. And that's just where that kind of relationship has grown so much over the years.
Speaking of your relationship, you've been one of his core guys on the team for your 5 years now. How has this helped you get into his circle of trust and being that leader?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, trust starts with everything. There's only 5 guys that could be on the court at one time, so being a part of that is just a very special thing. It's an honor. It's something that you can't take for granted. But yeah, with him, it takes a lot of trust for him to put you on the floor because he wants to know that you're going to do exactly what he needs you to do. And so just knowing that he has that faith in me, whether I mess up or do something well, just to stay constant has been huge.
So last season, you guys lost Lance Jones and Marcus Domask. Heading into this season, it was a big question how they were going to be replaced. So they're both thriving at their new schools, but how have you guys worked to change who is going to fill those roles on the court? Is it everybody, or are there certain people who have really stepped up?
I mean, obviously it's kind of a step up by committee kind of throughout the team, but it's hard to look past what Xavier Johnson's done this year. Obviously he's second in the country in scoring, leads the league in assists. I think he just broke the school record for assists in a season, held by our coach, Brian. So, I mean, just seeing what he's done and different guys that have stepped up. But obviously those 2 guys, they're dearly missed. They're great players, great friends of mine. They did a lot for our program, graduated from this university, so I'm super happy to see them thriving where they are. But yeah, we just kind of had to figure out a different play style And I think as we go, we're still figuring it out. We're trying to peak at the right time, but I've been happy with our team.
I definitely think that I've seen a lot of, like, from the stands, you've seen a lot of guys step up this season. What kind of adjustment did you make personally in the offseason, and how have you applied it this year?
I just think it was being an extension of coach. I mean, obviously having those guys, we're kind of led by, as a group, more so than just a couple of us now, that our teachings, we had so many new guys that didn't know what they needed to do. So just in terms of my communication and what we needed to do to get where we need to go, talking to them, and then really just trying to get in the best shape I've been in my career, knowing obviously the minutes I was going to have to log. It's just one of those things you have to be able to get stronger throughout the season, even while taking hits and bruises. So I've just been really focused on doing that.
You've had a few injuries in the past, haven't you?
Yes.
So this year is definitely big for not being injured.
Absolutely.
It seems that you've tapped into your killer mindset more this year than past seasons. Is that natural for you, or has it been a learning experience?
I'd say it's been natural in the sense of like what this team needs me to do. But yeah, it's been a learning experience just in the way the college game works. It's one of those things, being more aggressive, going downhill more. It's stuff that our coaches have always been telling me to do, but just kind of being comfortable enough to and confident enough to just go out there and do it. So it's been good for me, but it comes with its own challenges and its own weight on your shoulders.
Speaking of that confidence, you've been really stepping it up with your three-point shooting this season. So has Coach asked you to shoot more threes, or have the opportunities just been there more this season?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. Obviously, he's drawn up more plays for me to shoot, but in terms of just the flow of the offense, the way the ball moves side to side a little bit more this year, you kind of just walk into those opportunities. And of course, playing more, you're just on the floor more, so you get more shots. So it's just one of those things that obviously I'm grateful for, but I always want to make them all, even though obviously as of late and just different times, you just can't do that. But no, it's been great.
So there have been a lot of tight games this season, and for us fans, some of them have been very good wins, a few heartbreakers. So how, throughout your experience of college basketball, have you learned to not let your emotions get the best of you when it comes to things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, it's a body of work throughout an entire season, throughout an entire game. It's a possession-by-possession thing. Yeah, a lot of people end up seeing the 1-point loss at the end, but there's 3 or 4 plays throughout the game that you personally could have made that could have been the whole difference. So just staying level-headed, knowing everybody can get it done. So it's a tough one.
Stay tuned for more Saluki Sportsview. We thank Trent Brown and Saluki Softball for joining us on tonight's episode. Trent Brown really had a big impact on Saluki men's basketball this season.
Absolutely, and I thought it was very fun watching our friend Jordan learn how to slap bunt with the softball team.
Without a doubt. Stay tuned, because the spring season is just getting started, and there are many more stories and events for us to share with you as the season goes on.
For Joe Yunker, Cole Daly, and all of us here at Saluki Sportsview, thank you so much for watching, and good night.